just you and me.
Welcome to Candid Dialogues with Plummer and Lorraine Baylor. Each week, we'll bring you wholesome and engaging conversations about things that matter to you and things that matter to us. We address life topics ranging from relationships to business and our personal favorite, spiritual things. Now, here are your hosts, Plummer and Lorraine.
Well, welcome to Candid Dialogues with Plummer and Lorraine. I'm Plummer, and this beautiful lady here is Lorraine.
I am Lorraine.
We talk about things that matter to you and things that matter to us. And today we have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful show that we're going to be talking about. Yeah.
We're actually going to kind of continue from last week where we talked about succeed on purpose in 2021. So that was part one, and this is part two. So I want to thank you today for joining us. It's January 2021. Some of you have already set your goals, but there's some of you that are still on the fence and maybe haven't even started. But there are things that you want to accomplish this year. So that's where Plummer and I are going to come in. And we're just going to walk alongside you. And the way we're going to help you is by offering this 5-day goal setting challenge.
You know, I love the way you said it. We're going to walk alongside you.
Yes.
I think that's critical, okay? We're going to walk alongside you. We're going to do this together. Yeah.
We're going to do it together.
Yeah,
so the challenge really isn't going to cost you anything, but it will require you to put some time and effort into it. At the end of the 5-day challenge, the expectation is really that you're going to have a clear view of what it is that you desire to accomplish by the end of 2021.
Awesome. So the 5-day challenge. Let me just take a little bit time to explain this because I think when we mentioned it last week, there was a little bit of confusion. We had folks said they were interested. So I just want to clarify what it is and what is not. Okay.
Yes.
So the challenge, it's not about starting and finishing a goal within 5 days.
No, that's not what
Some of us have lofty goals. So it'll be unreasonable to say, well, I'm going to start this challenge and then I'm going to finish it within 5 days. No, that's what it's not about. But rather, it is about giving you a starting point for the process of achieving your goal. So the fact is that some of you might have long-term goals and some of you might have short-term goals. A short-term goal is a goal that's really it's in the near future, the very near future. It could include things that you want to accomplish within a week, within 2 weeks, within 3 months, 6 months,
a year.
up to a year. That's right. And a long-term goal could be what?
Well, that's going to be something that's going to be take you a little longer to accomplish. It could be your 5-10-year goal, 3-year goal, but it is going to require you to have a little bit more planning, and it's going to have, it's going to take a little longer to get there.
Awesome. You know, we got some folks just jumping in here. I just want to acknowledge you folks. Hey, Nelson. Hey, Adenka, Edmund. All right. Good afternoon. Right?
Good afternoon.
So this 5-day, the Succeed on Purpose 5-day goal setting challenge. Again, just to get some clarification, it might take you more than 1 day to finish day one, right? So basically, it's going to be an email challenge, and I'm actually going to be putting a link. I did forget to put that link there. Let me put it in there now, right?
Okay.
Should I?
You go ahead and put that link in.
Okay.
So while he's putting the link in
That's
there,
right.
one of the reasons that we're going to be walking alongside you is because it's kind of difficult sometimes to do things on your own. Okay. So Plummer and I thought we'll partner with you. Just so we'll be kind of walking with you as you're doing this challenge. You're setting goals, really. One of the things that I also would like to encourage you to do is to also maybe pull along a partner, somebody that you know they have some goals, they want to accomplish some things, whether it's lose weight, whether it is be in a certain financial position, but somebody that's going to hold you accountable. And the reason for that is that it's so much easier to have somebody with you. This 5-day challenge is just a starting point. I believe that at the end of it, you're going to take a look. And I know for me, what worked for me in 2020, in the midst of everything that was going on, I had set some goals for myself financially. When I look at the end of the year, I realized that I had done more than what I had set out to do financially. And that just gave me courage to really set a higher financial goal this year.
All righty. Well, hey, thanks a lot for that. So the link is up. If you look in the chat, it's there. You just go to challenge.candiddialogues.com. It's an email challenge. Basically, if you click on that link, and if someone could click on that link and just let me know it's working, click on that link. You see a little form there where you can register with your name and an email address. And then in 5 days, you're going to get a succession of emails. You're going to get a welcome email first. And then about an hour or so after that, you'll get your day one challenge. Now, again, as I was saying, it may take you more than 1 day to accomplish the day one challenge because it does require you to put some work. We realize that some of you are real busy folks, so it may take you a day or two, but it's day one. Consider it like each day as like a module, right? So again, it might take you a day to work on it. We know we have some achievers here, some overachievers, right? Some champions. So you'll go for it. But again, it may take you a day or two to accomplish it. The goal really is to work.
Finish.
Yes, it's to finish. It's to work through that. Yeah.
What is day one going to look like?
Well, day one, we're going to look at pretty much deciding what you want. Deciding what you want. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And so tell me, why is it important to decide what you want?
Well, one of the things that you really want to focus on, why you want to decide what you want is because if you don't have a primary focus, you're going to be focused on everything. So making that narrowing and kind of narrowing down what it is you really want to focus on is going to give you the ability to be able to meet those milestones that he's going to talk to you about.
Okay, so again, it's important that you decide what you want so that you can get focused and so that you can be specific. I think last week someone mentioned SMART goals. Well, the S in SMART goal is being specific. So on day one, you're going to work on that. You're going to have some specific instructions on what to do, things to think about, and so on. Day two, the second email that's going to come to you is you're going to establish milestones and create a system.
Okay.
Yeah.
And those milestones really those are a way to help motivate you and keep you going.
Okay.
And those are places where you can really celebrate, right?
That's right. You know, it's important to be able to celebrate a milestone. And the reason why you want to establish milestones is, say, for example, you have a lofty goal. Again, this whole goal setting challenge thing, it could be a big goal, it could be a small goal. Let's say you have a lofty goal, and oftentimes that's what most of us have. And I think last week we talked about, we looked at the very generic formula from X to Y by when. And we said the time sets an urgency. But sometimes that we so focus on the by when, and if it's a lofty goal, you spend time and you're working on it. That's what you're working on. Along the way, some people might become disillusioned.
Yeah.
They might become discouraged. When you establish milestones, I have a friend, he likes to say, chunk it, plumber, chunk it. So when you establish milestones, basically you're chunking it. You're making it in small chunks.
Yes.
And then you get to celebrate the milestones.
Yes.
How you celebrate the milestone is entirely up to you. But the key here is to celebrate the milestone because guess what? success breeds success.
Yes.
So as you hit that milestone, you celebrate it. It's a motivator, like Lorraine said.
Yeah.
It's an
And
excellent
you know,
motivator.
I think that, if you have somebody that's working with you, partner with someone,
Right.
you can celebrate those milestones together.
Awesome, awesome.
That is a motivator in itself.
Look, I'm going to get real school teacher here. So when we say celebrate the milestones, I'm not talking about throw a big old party, okay? You can get a kazoo and just blow, woo, 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 woo. I hit the milestone. That's a celebration. For
Yes,
some
it
people,
is.
that's exciting.
Yeah.
Get some confetti, cut some paper, do something, and keep it. Say, when I hit this milestone, right, boom, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw this up. I need to share. Well, can I share this story?
I don't know what story it is, so I'm not going to say yes.
So a major milestone, and I'm not going to name names, in one of my kids' life, they said once they hit that milestone and they
No, I
live
know.
by themselves, one of the first things they're going to do, and they didn't do it, but they said they were so looking forward, they said they're just going to buy toilet paper, put it on a roll, and just pull it. And just keep pulling it. That was how they're going to celebrate when they hit that milestone. Well, I guess, COVID-19 happened and, toilet paper is premium these days. So we're not going to mess around with
Yes, they did say that.
Oh,
That
my
was a good
goodness.
one.
Oh, we got some other folks joining us. Hey, Fumike. Joseph Ashford from California. Wonderful. Good to see you, Joe.
It's been a while.
Oh my goodness. Awesome. Okay, so day 1, deciding what you want. And then the next email, day 2 is establishing milestones and creating a system. Day 3, the third email, is about programming your habits.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to me a little bit. Why is it important to program your daily habits? Why
Well,
is it
your
important?
daily habits is really going to determine your future. I know most of you have heard if you've done something for 21 days, it becomes a habit. Well, if you establish certain habits, it keeps you on track.
Okay.
Not only does it keep you on track, but it's going to determine what the outcome is going to be. And it's going to become a consistent for you. Some people get up in the morning, the first thing they want to do is go to the kitchen and get a cup of coffee. That's their habit.
right?
That's their nature. They feel out of sorts if they don't get that coffee. Well, when you establish certain habits in terms of objectives and working your goal, then it doesn't become tedious. It just becomes second nature for you.
It also becomes something that you can celebrate. And in all of this, in goal setting, the whole idea of being able to celebrate is the key. So day 3, we're going to talk about programming your daily habits. Because your daily habits will determine your future accomplishments. The things that you do every day really speak to who you are. And then day 4, the fourth email you'll get is...
It tells if you're serious too.
Ooh, okay.
I just had to put that in there.
Just had to plug that in there, right? Okay, and day 4 will be planning your days.
I like this saying, and I think many of you have heard it. Those that fail to plan to fail. At the end of the day, when you plan, you take away the what and the when. And basically, those who plan, basically what they're doing is they are working actively towards their goal.
I think you said something that I really like. When you plan, you take away the what and the when. So you've eliminated a whole lot of stuff. When you sit down and you make a plan, you don't have to think about, okay, what am I going to be doing? Or you don't think about when am I going to be doing, which means, planning your days. We're talking about scheduling. I think I shared the last time when Lorraine and I first met, something she still does to this day. She would ask me, what's on your agenda for today?
I'm a planner.
Well, what's interesting, at the time, my little pea-brain mind could not process that. I just thought, and those of you who are in relationships or those of you who are married, you may get this even more. I just thought she was just trying to keep tabs on me. So it really annoyed me. Why are you asking me what's on my agenda for today? And the fact of the matter is, even at that point when I met her, I've been doing things on my own. I'd attained a measure of success. So it was like, why are you asking me, all this stuff? I can wing it. But the good side of that, and I think I share this also, is I started doing things knowing she was going to ask me what's on your agenda for the day. So the night before, I would sit down and think, she's going to ask me what's on your agenda for today, Plumber, in the morning. So guess what I'd do? I'd think of a few things, one or two things, just to tell her, pretty much to shut her up. And of course, morning come, few minutes into the morning, so what's on your agenda today, honey? And I'll just rattle it off. But then she'd go to work, I'd go to work, come back, and she'd ask me, how was your day today? Which is the thing that normal people do. Mm-hmm. Well, my little pea-brain mind will interpret how was your day today as if she was saying, did you do what you said you were going to do? What was your agenda? So guess what I started doing? The things that I had fabricated, I actually started doing them. Because I wanted to be able to tell her that, hey, yes, I did. I wanted to be able to tell her, hey, yes, I did it. Well, guess what? What I found out, 5-6 months down the line, I found out that I was being even more productive than I normally was. Why? Because I had started planning my days.
And also, when you're trying to accomplish goals and you plan, you know how to fit everything else in.
Right.
So when people come to you and they're saying, can you do this or will you do that? You know that, hey, that's not in my plan.
Right.
Of course you're going to have some flexibilities in your plan, but if it contradicts where you're really trying to go, say for instance, if you set some financial goals for yourself, right? And you know that in order to accomplish that, you have to reduce your shopping. And somebody tells you, let's go on a shopping spree. Well, wait a minute, that doesn't fit my plan. I've planned out that 3 months from now, I can go and just spend $500 and shop. But that's not the time now. So you know exactly what you are, where you are, and what you want to do. So you know what you can say no to.
Thank you. Keep in mind, folks, we're talking about succeeding on purpose, right? The journey to success really doesn't happen by accident, folks. You've got to plan for it. You've got to plan for it. Those who do not plan do not start.
That's it. If you don't plan, you're not going to start.
Right. So planning really does matter. And when you plan, you take away the what and the when. I'm looking here. We got a few more folks joining us here. Dre Sidman from Norway, thank you for joining us.
Hey,
Marianne
Gigi.
Carbo from Sierra Leone, thank you for joining us. Gigi says you two are hilarious. I think you guys are hilarious too, Gigi. Anyway, so day one, the email you'll get is decide what you want.
Yep.
Day 2, we're going to establish milestones and create a system. Day 3, email is going to be programming your habits. Day 4, planning your days. And folks, the link is on there. It's challenge.candiddialogues.com. So just go to that. You can even go to that right now. Share it. You're going to put in, all we need is your name and an email, right? We're not going to ask you for all the details for your bank information, your social security number. No, we're not.
Need that.
We're not going to do that. All we need is a name and your email, and you will be in that succession to get the emails.
Okay.
And then on
Day 5.
This is where we're going to talk about the weekly review, the power of the weekly review. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, that's really where you're going to take a look back. You're going to kind of monitor what you've done. You're going to evaluate, and then you're going to kind of recalibrate, or for another word, you can say you're going to kind of adjust. And say, for instance, you looked at your goals, you wrote your goals down, and for some reason it looks like it's not exactly representing where you want to go. You tweak it a little bit. You just go in and you tweak it. It's okay to change. It's okay to kind of narrow it down, because your life is your life. And you know what you want to accomplish, and you know what success looks like for you. And again, you don't want success. You don't want to interpret success based on what somebody else's success is going to be. Okay.
Let me talk about that a little bit, because oftentimes we compare ourselves to people. That is it's a thing that many people have, and it holds them back. Once you start comparing yourself to someone else, then you start going into those defeatist, mentality. You start thinking you're not good enough. You start thinking, well, I'm not tall enough. I'm not short enough. I'm not cute like Plumber's wife, right? So you start thinking all those things, folks. Listen, success has to be for you. You define what success looks like for you,
you.
and you do this on purpose.
Exactly.
What are-
This is not a comparison. This is not a race. That's not what it is. It's about your success, your
That's right.
individual, personal, maybe family
Right.
goals, whatever it is that you've decided.
Right.
Okay?
So succeed on purpose in 2021.
Yes. Now, I have a saying. No, I don't have a saying. I have a quote that I like to. I actually have a plaque on my desk, and it says, "The journey of 1,000 miles begin with one step." I don't know about you, but 1,000 miles is pretty far. I think so. I think even in the plane, 1,000 miles is pretty far.
It can be intimidating.
It can be intimidated, but it begins with one step. So in order to complete that journey, you have to take the first step. One of the scriptures that I really love is Ecclesiastes 11:4. And you know what it says? It says, "He who observes the wind will not sow, and he who regards the clouds will not reap."
Ooh.
In other words, if you're looking at all the obstacles that you have to overcome, or you're looking at, you want the perfect circumstance to be in place before you start, you'll never start. You'll never start.
I love that. So this is what Ecclesiastes 11:4. He who observes the wind will not sow, and he who regards the cloud will not reap. So when it's time to sow, right? If you're thinking, well, you know what? It's too windy. Right? Think about that. You're making your goals, but you're thinking the circumstances are not right. Too many forces against me. Too many people are not going to support me and all that stuff. He who regards the wind will not sow. The guy has his seeds and he wants the seed to go certain places, but it's too windy. It's like, it's not going to sow the seeds.
Yes.
Start. That's the bottom line. Start. And he who regards the clouds will not reap. You say,
That's
well, it's
it.
going to start raining. So I'm no.
If you don't sow
start.
anything, you're not going to reap anything. If you don't put in the effort, you're not going to get any results. So if you're looking for the end of this year to look a certain way, you have to plan for it to look a certain way.
That's
and
right.
you have to do the work for it to look a certain way for you.
Awesome. You gave an example when we were talking about this. You talked about the pilot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought that was a very good example there.
When, many, many moons ago, when I was a very young girl, starting in corporate America, one of the things that I noticed that at the particular job that I was in, that they were always making changes. But when they wanted to implement a change, what they will do is they would start what we call a pilot. So with this pilot, they would take a small sector of people and they will try it out for a while to try to work out the kinks in it. But eventually that pilot would become a process, the new process that we would be doing. I remember back then thinking, what in the world are these people doing? Because it's not perfect. There's still some issues to be worked out. But as I grew, and
that was a perfectionist in you.
that was the perfectionist.
You wanted
in
everything
me.
to be in place.
I expected, in corporate America, everything's going to be in place. But what I found is that when they took it from the pilot stage and they put it into the actual process, that's actually during the process is when all of those kinks started to be worked out. Now, there were times that they had something that was a pilot that became a process, and maybe a year down the road or 2 years down the road, they realized that this is not exactly how, and they would, change or do another pilot. But the bottom line is they were not afraid to start, and we had to switch at some point from that pilot to the process, and everything wasn't always in place. But majority of time when they went from the pilot to the process, once the process was in place, they started to work out the kinks, and that pilot was perfected in the process.
So the key here is to just start.
It's to start.
Do like Nike and just do it,
Just
right?
do it.
Just do it. Another example comes to mind. A lot of companies when they're opening, a lot of big companies when they're opening, let's say a new location, they do what's called a soft opening. So the soft opening is basically they just open without doing a big publicity, right? So there's the grand opening where they advertise and do all of that stuff so everyone can come on that day. But they open like maybe a week or two before that, so that, and they call it a soft open. So basically, even with the soft open, they're doing everything that they're supposed to be doing, but they're getting people in, they're getting customer feedback, and they're tweaking things for the grand opening. So the bottom line is just start. The reality again is, if you're looking for perfection, you will not start. The journey of 1,000 miles must begin with a single step. A single step. Yeah. A friend of mine, Daryl Dixon, he says a decision is only as good as the action you take. That thing just stayed in my mind, because the fact of the matter is, you can make a decision right now. Say, hey, listen, I'm going to get in this 5-day goal setting challenge. You can make that decision. Get excited about it. Go to the website, log in and register. You can do all of that. But the fact of the matter is, when that first email comes, if you don't take action, if you don't sit down and begin to work through the things that are on that email, then really, your decision, again, the decision is only as good as the action that you take. So decisions are great. It's good to make a decision, right? But you got to back it up with action. So, yeah.
And I'm going to plug this in, and you all can finish the rest of the sentence. For somebody that keeps doing the same thing over and over, no changes, and expect a different result, we usually call them a certain name.
Looney Tunes. They're crazy. I'm just going to say it. you keep trying, you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. And I think there's a quote there. I think it's been attributed to different people. Edmund Burke. It's been what's the guy's name? Einstein. The bottom line is, if you want change and you keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, change is not going to happen. So
that's right. And if you want to go on a trip to Paris and you never plan for it, you never budget for it, you never set it as, okay, that's what I'm going to do, you ain't going to Paris.
Put it on the calendar. A very, very real and practical example. Lorraine and I have been talking about doing something like Candid Dialogues for a long time. We have. We've been planning, we've been scheming, we've been talking about it, we've been visionizing and all of that stuff. But last year we got to the point where I said, honey, let's put this on the calendar. Let's set a date and let's start interacting with folks. And voila, this is our second season, y'all, and you guys have made it possible. So thank you very much. Yeah. So after you decide to get started, where do you go from there?
After you decide to get started, I believe that the next step is to prioritize your goals. Is that where we're going?
Yes, that's where you go. I love this quote. I want to throw it there. The guy's name is H.L. Hunt. He said, decide what you want, decide what you're willing to exchange for it.
You mean we got to exchange something?
Yes, establish your priorities and go to work. So decide what you want, decide what you're willing to exchange for it, establish your priorities, and go to work. Just do it. Get started. You asked about, are we going to have to exchange something? Yes. I mean, if I, let's give an example. I want to lose some weight, right? There's some things I'm going to have to exchange.
That tiramisu?
See, she letting out all my secrets now. Yes, I'm going to have to exchange that tiramisu for something else. That's right, because that's a lot of sugar. I remember when I started this journey, it's been a while I haven't had sugar. Now I use Splenda, right? And I see the difference it has made. It's been a while. But at some point, I just read also, after a while, you get used to Splenda. I find myself, instead of using just one pack of Splenda, because, now I started using 2 and 3, and after a while, it becomes a problem. So what do I have to do? I have to exchange that. I have to give it up completely, because really, fact of the matter is, we don't need the sugar. We don't need the sugar. So yes, you're going to have to exchange. So after you decide what you want, decide what you're willing to exchange, the cost, establish some priorities, and go for it. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right.
So a few things. We just want to share a few more things, and then we'll wrap up, right? We just wanted to kind of clarify the 5-day goal setting challenge for you guys, and make sure you have the link. And so number one, we said prioritize your goals.
Prioritize the
right. Make sure the right activities fill your calendar.
Mm-hmm.
This is, so again, when we're talking about prioritizing, make sure the right activities are on your calendar. In December, I took an exam. I wanted to get certified as a Scrum Master. Some of you may know what that is. It's kind of like a project management kind of thing, and so I had to prioritize. I had to figure out what filled my calendar. I had to decide. Okay, Plumber, you can't do this now. Or Plumber, you can't do this now. Focus on this, right? Because I didn't want to be here, there, and everywhere. So make sure the right activities are on your calendar.
And I like this next one. Same under prioritize your goals. It's really deciding what is urgent and versus what's important.
This is good. So being able to discern what's urgent versus what's important. And what's the guy's name? Former President of the United States, Dwight D. Eisenhower, had this, again, it's called the Eisenhower principle. Yeah, you can Google it. But he says not everything that is important is urgent. And also not everything that is urgent is important. And if you're going to prioritize, you've got to learn to discern between the two. Now, there are times what's important can be urgent, but you've got to be able to differentiate between the
Why
two.
Why are you doing what I do? I'm the one that stumbles.
Hey, I
have to get that in there.
I stumbled.
All
So
right.
number one, prioritize your goals. The second thing is
you want to go back to that prioritize your goal because you can only focus on one thing at a time. You know, if you're trying to focus on 2 or 3 different things, it's not going to work. So many people talk about multitasking.
We're not
but
wired
even
for that.
Yeah, we're really not wired to multitask. And if you're trying to prioritize, you really got to focus on that one thing that you're trying to accomplish.
You know, it used to be, I know back in the 90s when I started, working in corporate America here, it used to be you had to be able to put in your resume that you are a multitasker. Well, corporate America has figured that out. We're not wired for multitasking, okay? You are not productive when you multitask. So you got to figure out, again, prioritize your goal. You can really focus on one thing at a time. So you might want to be able to, you might want to establish 2 or 3 goals, but prioritize them and do one at a time. If you give your energy to one thing at the time, then that one thing benefits from all of you and the potential for success increases.
Yeah, and you're not stressing yourself out.
That's another one, yeah.
All right, so the next thing, this is the kicker, I think.
So number one, prioritize your goals. Number 2, develop good habits.
And I believe that a habit is established through consistency.
Okay.
So you have to do it again and do it again and then do it again. Once it becomes a habit, then it becomes your nature. I think I mentioned that earlier. And this, I think, this is where I think it will benefit you to have a tag team. You know, have somebody that you're working alongside for it's just 5 days, that's working alongside that can keep you accountable and help you to maintain those habits, mastering the ability to say what?
No.
Say what?
No.
Did you just tell me no?
No. Mastering the ability to say no. Yes. Someone to hold you accountable. And I think we've talked about the whole accountability piece. It's very important. So even as you get on this 5-day goal setting challenge, get an accountability partner. Someone who's going to hold you accountable. They're not going to beat you on the head, but they're going to remind you. They're going to hold you accountable and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're going to learn from your mistakes, of course. Yeah. And that's all a part of developing good habits.
Yeah. So a habit is established through consistency. Doing it over and over again. You want it to become automatic. Just a side note here, there's studies that have told us that the brain is made up of the conscious and then the subconscious part of your brain. 15% of the activities that we do happen in the conscious part of our brain. So the conscious part of our brain is where we do things on purpose, where you do things intentionally, your will, where you tell yourself to do certain things. That occupies about 15% of our daily activities. 85% of our daily activities are driven from the subconscious because we've done them over and over and over again. It's kind of like automatic. I'll give you an example. Before the pandemic, and this was such a God move. It was just a smart move. We had two cars, right? Lorraine drove a Ford Edge. I drove a Chevy Malibu. Well, the Ford Edge, where the turn signal is on the other side of where the Chevy Malibu is. When we're going places together, I used to for us to ride in the Ford Edge. It's an SUV. It's a bigger ride. I actually liked that ride, but it was her car, right? And so it was really interesting because I'm so used to driving my Chevy Malibu, right? And the turn signal is on, let's say it's on the right side. When I'm driving the Ford Edge, because in my subconscious, I've done it so many times over and over again, when it's time to do the turn signal, guess what I'm doing? I'm moving this in my left hand, and that becomes an issue. So again, habits are developed that way. Now I had developed that habit. I'll give another example. When I came to America, when I first started to drive, in Sierra Leone, those of you who are Sierra Leoneans, you learn to drive on a what? On a stick shift, on a manual shift, right? One of the things that really just endeared me to this lady, when I met her, she was driving a stick shift. I'm like, that's my girl. That's the one right here. We're kind of here, right? So anyway, I come to America, and most cars are automatic. When I went to take my driver's test, in America in an automatic. And of course, it's a little tense. Even by that, I've been driving for years in Sierra Leone. So I come to America, I think it's a piece of cake. So I go to take my driver's test, and I'm being tested in this automatic. And the guy who was testing me saw me doing certain things, right? Time to brake, I'm looking to move the stick shift. Why? Because that's habit. It had been programmed in my subconscious. So when we talk about developing good habits, we're really talking about doing things over and over again. So it moves from your conscious. You don't have to be intentional about it. It just happens automatically. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And then the third thing.
You got to prepare for the unexpected.
Okay.
Just be flexible, be open-minded. Don't be so rigid, but just kind of prepare for the unexpected, knowing that everything is not always going to go exactly as planned. But if you have the right mindset, you're going to be able to get through the unexpected.
That's right. The best laid plans of mice and men aft gang ugly. I learned that in literature in Form 1. The best laid plans of mice and men often go astray. Be flexible. Be open-minded. So prepare for the unexpected.
Yeah.
And that's it, right?
All right.
I think we should wrap it up.
Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, but why don't we see if anyone has any questions?
Some comments here.
Comments.
Yeah.
Gigi said the definition is insanity.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
That was to a earlier comment about doing the same thing every day and expecting a different result.
I love, Edmund says there's no success without sacrifice. And that is so true.
Yes.
That is
but
so
the
true.
Reward, my goodness. I love the reward.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All righty.
All right, guys. It looks like we don't have any questions. It looks like people already know what they're going to do.
Well, yeah. Hey, I just wanted to say, give us, I'm in again, those of you who are coming in on the challenge. It's challenge.candiddialogues.com. If someone could go there and can you post the link you mentioned? It should be pinned to the top. Oh, I love this. Joe said, even the most flexible trees can break in the wind. Just be like water, he says. I like that. I'm gonna try to put the link again. Let me see if I can put it in there. It should be pinned to the top. But hey, it is what it is. Challenge. Wait a minute.
And they can go to candiddialogues.com and still get there from there.
I'm actually going to put it there as well. Challenge.
So give us a thumbs up. If you think you'll be joining us in this challenge.
Dot.
Did I say that right? Challenge.
Okay, candid, that's HTTPS candid, okay, challenge at candiddialogues.com. All right, there it is. It has been posted again. All right, yes, it is pinned. Okay, all right, thank you, Ethel. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Fumike said this was definitely a message I needed to hear today. Fumike, go ahead and sign up for the 5-day challenge. You will get an email every day. All righty, awesome. Thank you so very much, guys. I think we're going to wrap this up. Remember,
All right.
success is only a candid dialogue away.
God bless you guys.
If you got challenges,
Thank you for joining us.
just reach out to us. Yes, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, wait a minute. Let's see. There we go.